All right, to start off week 6 on Sunday morning, we have an international game in London between the Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans. This has been quite the rivalry lately. These two have been really going at it. It feels like they play each other every year. They go back and forth. So this could be another one of those games where it could be close for the Ravens, but I mean, the Ravens, man, they're so confusing. They're losing to teams like they shouldn't. Like they're losing to teams like the Colts. They shouldn't be losing to the Colts. They shouldn't be losing to the Steelers. They should be winning those games and beating those teams. But the Ravens are looking a little bit overrated right now. But I do think they are overall the better team than the Tennessee Titans. The Titans, they could run the ball well. They have Derrick Henry. They didn't run it great last week versus the Colts, but then the Colts ran all over them. So the Colts were able to run all over them really well. Then I'm sure that the Ravens will be able to as well. Although a lot of the running backs are hurt, you do have Lamar, and it seemed like Anthony Richardson was having himself a decent day. Unfortunately, he went down until then. But yeah, I think the Baltimore Ravens, they're just the better all-around team, and I'm taking the better all-around team. I'm not going to overthink it too much. Now, it is a rivalry game. It is an international game. It is the Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans, two teams that are damn near impossible to predict so far this year, but I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens over the Titans because I think that defense is going to make that couple extra plays that the Titans defense won't be able to. The Titans defense not very good. You allowed a big week to Zach Moss last week. The Colts offensive line had their way with them. Colts offensive line is actually looking pretty good so far this year. But yeah, I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens 23-16. It's just, the Ravens are flat out the better team. Will they win? I don't know. The Titans find a way to beat teams that they shouldn't. The Ravens find a way to lose teams that they shouldn't. On top of that, this is a rivalry. On top of that, it's an international game. You just never know. But I'm taking the team that is more talented, better offensively, better defensively, just all around the better team. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens 23-16. Next up, we have the Washington Commanders taking on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. I am taking the Atlanta Falcons in this one, 27-23. 27 points is a lot for the Falcons, but I think they could score that against the Washington team. I mean, we just saw the Bears, who had one of the worst offenses coming into that game. Justin Fields struggling, and Justin Fields really, really lit it up. DJ Moore really lit it up. They're still trying to find that guy. They did have Emmanuel Forbes. It was a rookie. I'm blanking on his name, but they had him go sit for a little while. Ron Rivera wasn't happy with him. Defense didn't play well. The offense, caught fire a little too late, and then they were making little mistakes here and there. And if you look at this team, if you look at both of these teams, then you kind of like who's going to win in the trenches, because both of them have really good defensive lines, and they will get after each other's quarterbacks. But both of them are probably going to struggle to protect their own quarterbacks, and the difference is Sam Howell and the Washington Commanders' weapons over the Falcons' weapons and Desmond Ridder. Now, the Commanders really struggle stopping the run. And as we know, the Falcons have Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. So I think the difference is going to be, even though Sam Howell, I was starting to say that Sam Howell and, those weapons would be the difference. But, I mean, I'm going to count on this Falcons defensive line getting a lot of pressures, forcing Sam Howell to throw, to make some mistakes, in this offense to make some mistakes, and get some turnovers, just because of that. And that could be the difference in this game. The Falcons are going to steal possessions. They're going to run the ball all over them, limit them to as little possessions as possible. And that's why I think the Atlanta Falcons win this one. The Commanders just aren't looking good. They're looking like them. I mean, I like Sam Howell. He's making some really nice big-time throws. But he's been sacked 30 times so far, and that is the most in the league. He is on pace to be sacked over 100 times. And then you have the Falcons on their end. Their offensive line is decent. It's not great. It's not horrible, but it's good enough to get the job done. And then on top of that, you have some very good running backs. But it may be tough to run to run the rock. If the Commanders do want to win this one, they're going to have to stop the run, which they're not very good at. And if they do stop the run, then I think they have a good shot to win this one. That's their key. That's their main key in this one. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna take Bijan Robinson in that Atlanta Falcons rushing defense to take the win over the Commanders. All right, next matchup is between the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Colts are heading to Jacksonville. We all know how that goes. Gardner Minshew is going to be returning to Jacksonville, so that's something to maybe keep an eye on. You always see players have the revenge games, and for some reason they just go off versus that team. A little extra motivation, that little extra pep in their step. They're like, yes, I want to beat this team. Yes, I want to break the losing streak they have in Jacksonville, which was like seven years straight. It's pretty bad. And the last couple of games they've been pretty much just embarrassing Jacksonville, and they're looking to change that this year. Shane Steichen and the way this team plays and thinks and just flies around the field is miles and miles ahead of what they were doing with Frank Reich. With Frank Reich, they weren't doing that, but they're really flying around the field. But Trevor Lawrence and this Jaguars team is one of the most inconsistent teams I've ever seen. They're allowing 17 points to the Chiefs, and then they scored 9 points against the Chiefs defense, which the Chiefs defense has actually been pretty good this year so far. I think they're ranked actually 9th or 11th, and it's either points are allowed or yards allowed. So that Chiefs defense is actually no joke. Good thing, because their offense is kind of a joke, other than Patrick Mahomes and other than Patrick Mahomes. Well, the entire offense is not a joke. It's mainly the receiving core, which is making it much more difficult for that offense to get things done, push the ball down the field when they need to. But this one, the Jaguars have too many good weapons. That Colts young secondary is going to struggle. Julius Brents has looked good so far, but Trevor Lawrence has always teared the Colts up with no issues. Although, week 1 it was a little different. I thought we played much better against Trevor Lawrence than we have since he's been in the league. But I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-20 over the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts can get pressure. They've been getting turnovers, but is the offense going to be able to do enough? I'm not sure. The Jaguars' run defense is one of the best in the league, so that can be tough. I mean, we did play one of the best run defenses last week, and we're only getting Bernard Ryman back. We should be, so it's looking pretty good. Really, we'll see. We'll see how the game goes, but I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-20 over the Indianapolis Colts. They just have too much firepower for that young secondary to deal with. All right, next up, you got the New Orleans Saints and the Houston Texans. This one's a toss-up for me. It's a tough one. I am going to count on C.J. Stroud to make the extra play, and Tank Dell or Nico Collins, Schultz, Damian Pierce. I'm going to trust one of those guys to make the play with C.J. Stroud and Derek Carr with the guys that he has. C.J. Stroud has looked phenomenal. Derek Carr, I've not been a fan of Derek Carr at all this season. I'll be honest with you. He's been very inaccurate, very inconsistent. Once you get in the red zone, the offense stalls out. They can't get any red zone offense going. Although last week, they did put up more points, but, the defense also really helped them quite a bit. But I'm gonna take the Houston Texans, and I know I'm gonna make the prediction that C.J. Stroud throws his first interception this game. That is a savvy defense. They have a veteran defensive back room. Demario Davis, they're probably gonna get pressure. I say this is the game that C.J. Stroud throws his first interception. If not, then he may go the rest of the season not, because I don't know. This just seems like a game that he would throw an interception versus a savvy Saints defense that can get pressure and ultimately make C.J. Stroud make his first bad read or decision of the year. The Saints defense is a little better, but the Texans defense, that's a playmaking defense. They're going to pressure Carr all day long. I'm going to take the Houston Texans by 4. Like I said, it's a toss-up. I wouldn't touch any lines in this one. I would just leave this one go. I mean, I know the Saints did just put a butt whooping on the New England Patriots, but as we've just seen, they got their butt whooping by the Cowboys. So the Cowboys consider one of the better teams in the NFL. I don't think the Saints are one of the better teams in the NFL. I think they're very mediocre, right in the middle of the pack. They have good defense. They have a decent offense. They're not great. They're not bad. They're right in the middle, and I think C.J. Stroud and these weapons and the Houston Texans defense is going to make just enough plays, and the Texans are going to come out of that one with a win in Houston at home. Remember, I think C.J. Stroud will still throw his first interception that game. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins at home, Hard Rock Stadium, facing on the Carolina Panthers. So I'm taking the Miami Dolphins. I think everyone's going to be taking the Miami Dolphins here. Now, crazy things happen, but I just don't see it. I can see the Panthers putting up some points because of this Dolphins offense, or this Dolphins defense is pretty weak. It's pretty lackluster. So I can see the Panthers, and it seemed like Bryce Young picked it up a little bit last week. He started getting things figured out, and first few weeks he looked absolutely horrible, but it is what it is. You move on. Young quarterbacks learn. It takes some time, and I thought he looked really good last week versus the I don't even remember who they played, but I thought he actually looked pretty good. But I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins 34-24. Not good enough to outscore Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. The Dolphins have been able to run the football. And, one of the strengths of this Carolina team is their defensive line. You have Brian Burns, Derek Brown. The defense line is very talented, but there's only so much you could do when Tua just has to dink and dunk and throw screens and, just hand it out to Devon Achane all day long. So I'm taking the Miami Dolphins 34-24. Should be no issue for the Dolphins there. Although, the Giants, they keep it close with them. Well, the Giants didn't keep it close with them. They just said, hey, we're here. We're not, just going to let you stomp on us and win. No, and, they had it in one possession at one point. But let's move on to an NFC North matchup. Good old NFC North, the Minnesota Vikings traveling to face the Chicago Bears. As you see, I finally changed the logo to the Bears face. I've had the Bears C for quite some time. It was time to change it to the actual logo that they've been using. So the Minnesota Vikings, man, they have more of the offense. I know they're not going to have Justin Jefferson. They can't really run the football. But this could be a game where Justin Fields struggles a little bit. The Vikings like to blitz a lot, but that could also mean that Justin Fields could have another huge game. DJ Moore getting open, throw some nice passes to him. So Justin Fields could be in for another big day, or he's going to be pretty lackluster against a defense that likes to blitz, call a lot of man coverage, that kind of stuff. But I still would take Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings over the Chicago Bears right now. Although the Vikings, you cannot trust them for anything. I would not be shocked if the Bears found a way to win this one. I don't think they will. I'm taking the Vikings. I still think they have the better team. They have a better offense. Arguably, I don't really know about that, but they have a great quarterback, awesome quarterback. He's really carrying that squad. Without Justin Jefferson, that's tough. Yeah. But they'll be fine. Well, it is a big loss. They won't necessarily be fine. But, next man up, Jordan Addison has looked fantastic throughout the first couple of weeks. KJ Osborne has been on and off. You have Brandon Powell. You have a few guys that can make some plays. So, as long as Kirk Cousins continues to play the way he's playing, I don't see you really having too much of an issue, especially versus a very lackluster, very poor Chicago Bears defense. Somehow they got almost 10 sacks on Sam Howell last week. That shows how bad that offensive line was. Now they're playing a pretty decent offensive line, and I expect that Bears pass rush to come back down to earth. Take the Minnesota Vikings 27-23 over the Chicago Bears. All right, next up we have the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a toss-up. There are some tough games to predict this week, and this is one of them. But I think this is where we really see Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I believe T. Higgins is going to be back. He's still Tyler Boyd. Now, Seahawks do have a decent defense, and they actually have a really good run defense. So they are going to have to beat them through the air. They have young and upcoming cornerbacks. How will they fare against a very talented wide receiver core, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and especially when they're on the same page with Joe Burrow? That is a very difficult offense to stop. I don't care who the cornerback is. When you have that chemistry, it is very difficult to play against. But I think the Cincinnati Bengals win this one 27-20. And the Bengals, I looked at their, how bad they are at stopping the run, and the Seahawks like to run. They want to run the football, so that could be an issue. You're going to have to limit the turnovers, and if you throw too many turnovers, if you have one or two turnovers, you're probably going to lose this because, the Seahawks are going to run it down your throat, and they're going to ultimately take it. And then they'll ultimately win the football game, limit the possessions that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and those guys have. But, yeah, I am absolutely taking the Cincinnati Bengals, 27-20. It's a tough one. Can go either way, like I mentioned. All right, next up, the San Francisco 49ers playing the Cleveland Browns. So I heard that the Browns are going to be starting, what was his name? He was with the Bears, the Panthers, Phillip Walker. I heard Phillip Walker might be playing in this game, and considering he couldn't even make the Bears roster, that's a bit worrisome. But I do really like Tyson Bagent. I'm not a big fan of Phillip Walker. He's not very good. And on top of that, of course you don't have Nick Chubb, and you're playing one of the best, if not the most fearsome, if not the most daunted defense in the entire NFL. They're going to come after you. They're going to blitz you. They're going to get turnovers. Fred Warner would be forcing fumbles. It is a very, very strong defense, and I don't even know if the Browns can score 13. I don't even know if they score a touchdown in this one, but I'm just saying, maybe they get a garbage time touchdown after they already had, I don't know, six. They get garbage time, go for two, they don't get it. Fine, it works like that. But Brock Purdy playing at a very high level. This Browns defense is elite, and this could be a game that San Fran is maybe looking over a little bit. Maybe teams slip up. We see it, and you don't really have any tape out on Philip Walker playing in this offense, but it's not going to take long to adjust him. He's not a great quarterback. He's not very good. That definitely not enough to really put his money where put the Browns' money where their mouth is and keep it close with the Niners. Maybe they could. Maybe that defense could, but the way Christian McCaffrey's playing, Brandon Ayuk, Brock Purdy, Kittle. I don't see anyone. I just don't. I don't see the Browns doing it. I don't. It could be a long game for them. And once again, I apologize for getting off topic. I'm kind of pausing. I am currently going off of 30, 34, 35. No. Yeah, no, 33 hours straight with no sleep, just working, trying to get some graphic packages done, sketching, and getting some ideas down. So stick around; it's a great place to be, great community. And join the Discord. We go live on all platforms for the games. We have a streaming schedule coming out pretty soon as well. So, yeah. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Los Angeles Chargers, heading on to Los Angeles. I am taking the Dallas Cowboys to win this game. I have not been impressed with the red zone offense, and I think we all know how bad that red zone offense is. And, now you're going from playing the 49ers defense, one of the best in the league, to one of the more lackluster and one of the more rougher defenses in the NFL. Well, I mean rough in a way it's not very good, not in a way it's, it's not very good, it's not good. And I think the Cowboys will do just enough to win this one on offense, just because of how poor that Chargers defense is. They're gonna pound that football. They are gonna run that darn football, and it's gonna be a big week for Tony Pollard. It's gonna open things up for Dak Prescott. I can see them scoring more, but until they prove to me that they can be better in the red zone, I have them currently sitting at 26 points. That's what if you score 14, that's 4 field goals. It's possible for how that Cowboys offense has played, especially in the red zone. Chargers, Justin Herbert, he can only do so much. He's going to be pressured all day long. He's going to have Keenan, but I mean, you're only going to have so much. The defense is going to struggle. Maybe I have the score closer here than what it might be, than what I think it should be. Maybe it would be a 1-2 score game, but Justin Herbert is the man, and he's going to keep them in it. But I have the Dallas Cowboys taking her 26-23. Next up, why do we have to continue to have the New York Football Giants on Sunday Night Football? And I apologize, the order is all screwed up. I did not realize that until now. But yeah, the Giants are playing the Bills. Bills have been one of the better teams in the NFL. They did just have a rough game versus the Jaguars. They went overseas. Now they're coming back. So is that going to have an effect on them? I think they will be fine. The Giants, they're a train wreck, man. The offensive line isn't there. Coaching is not looking very good. Way too anger, way too many emotions just going into that. Throwing the tablet on the sideline. That's not really a leader. I don't like that one. I don't like that at all. But poor Daniel Jones, he's gonna get hit all day long. He'll probably get hit another 15 to 300 times. They're not going to be able to run the ball. The Bills have a really good run defense. Although, they are a little beat up there, so a lot of those guys might be on a snap count. They might not be at 100%. So maybe if they could get the run game going, but I don't see it. The Bills are going to get up early. They're going to get up quick. They're playing a defense that likes to call out of man coverage, wild blitzes, and Josh Allen's going to absolutely feed off that. I would not be surprised if the Bills score over 40 or even if they lay the 50 burger. But I'm taking the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. Wish it was a better matchup. No offense, but I wish it was a better matchup. Heck, I would have rather this matchup on the Sunday Night Football slate than the Giants and the Bills. All right, Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Chargers. So, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Los Angeles Rams. As I said, 34 I can't even remember. I can't even count. This is like my 33rd or 34th hour straight with no sleep. So it is what it is. We gotta keep we gotta keep moving. Gotta keep pumping the content out and learning and getting stuff done. So, but the Arizona Cardinals traveling to LA, not very far, just up north a bit. Well, it is pretty far actually, but. Yeah, I think the Rams are flat out the better team. They've been playing like a very good football team. Cooper Kupp, he's back. Puka's been playing great. It seems like Kyron Williams has been playing really well for you. And the Cardinals don't have James Conner, although they do have that backup they stepped in last week. I don't remember his name, but I thought he looked all right. It's definitely a downgrade from James Conner though. James Conner was pretty good. Cardinals' offensive line isn't that great. Rams are going to get a lot of pressure on Joshua Dobbs. Dobbs has come back to earth. He's not really what he was. Although that that Cardinals team will fight hard every single play. So if you let your guard down, they will make you pay for it. So the Rams better not be waltzing into this game saying, "Hey, we got this game. We're good." But I don't think Sean McVay will let his squad do that. Matthew Stafford will probably have a day against this Cardinals defense. Although, as I was just saying, that Cardinals defense has been playing really hard. Godchek, that guy in the middle, has been absolutely amazing. Gardick, I don't remember how to say his name, but he's been phenomenal. I'm taking the better quarterback, the better defense, the better. I don't know. The Cardinals defense has been very good. They've been playing really hard, but I'm still taking the Rams. Better quarterback. You got a couple more weapons. Both offense lines are pretty lackluster. I'll take the Los Angeles Rams and over the Arizona Cardinals 27-20. All right, next up we have the New England Patriots taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, heading all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast, Boston to Las Vegas, and that could definitely play a factor as time zones are really different. Your body's not used to it. You're trying to adjust. You just cannot. It's very different and very weird. But the New England Patriots, man, they've been really getting their behinds handed to them this last couple of weeks. They got shut out by the Saints 34-0, and then versus the Cowboys, you lost 38-3. Come on, man. That is pathetic. That is horrible. Bill Belichick, get your team together. Mac Jones, start playing better. You're playing horrible. On the other end, you have Jimmy Garoppolo. And even that offense line is not playing well. But on the other end, you have Jimmy Garoppolo facing his whole team. I'd expect him to have a pretty good game just because of that. And the Patriots defense has not been very good. They allowed 38 and 34 points over the last 2 weeks, and they've scored a total of 3 points. Yeah, it's been pretty bad. But the Las Vegas Raiders, I see them winning this game, getting just enough done with Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. They have weapons on that offense. They really do. Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs can run that damn football. We all know it. And those are the reasons why I think the Raiders will beat the New England Patriots. They're just better. They are just better offensively. They're going to make that extra play. Both defenses are not good, but I'm gonna take the more reliable offense. With Jimmy Garoppolo, neither offensive lines are playing good football either, but I'm still taking the Las Vegas Raiders, Max Crosby, to get pressure all day long. I say Max Crosby, this is my bold prediction. Max Crosby will have 3 sacks in this game. 3 sacks. Mark it down. Raiders with the W at home. All right, next up we got the Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2 franchises that have been very good this year so far. Lions have been at a different level, though. They are one of the best teams in the NFC. They are competing. They want it all. They want that first playoff win in quite a long time. They are hungry. They are thirsty. They want it. They're going to go through anyone. They don't care whether it's a Pirate, Buccaneers, whether it's the Vikings. Even the Lions are dominating the seas. Not just the ground, but the seas as well. And the Bears too. They got them with the Bears. But man, like I said, 33 hours of sleep. I don't know. I hope I made you laugh. But the Detroit Lions, I don't see them having too much of an issue with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Although the Buccaneers defense is very impressive. It is a very good defense. But the Lions offense is also very good. And that defense, the Lions defense can force some turnovers, maybe make Baker Mayfield make a couple of bad throws. Baker has actually looked pretty good. I've been very impressed with Baker so far. No one's talking about him. Start talking about him if you have not yet. go watch the games. He's actually played pretty well. He's been clutch in big-time moments, but it's not going to be enough. This Buccaneers offense has turned the ball over. They have gotten turnovers, but I just think the Lions are going to be too much for them to handle. Lions 24-17. Now we got two East Coast teams, the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Jets, the New York Football Jets, Jets, Jets. And you got the Fly Eagles fly on the other side. They are probably gonna win. Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles 20-13. Eagles, man, last couple of weeks they've kind of played back and forth, a game back and forth, not really, the sides of the ball have played hot potato on who wants to play good and who doesn't. So defense had a really bad outing versus Washington, and then the offense really picked it up last week. It was the defense that picked it up, and the offense struggled. But they're winning in different ways. They can beat you in many different ways. It's just a matter of fact of them playing more clean football. They're not playing clean football. They're playing sloppy. But they do get the win against the Rams with decent passing offense. Really worried about that secondary considering they really struggle versus the Commanders. But I will take the Philadelphia Eagles 20-13. It has Zach Wilson on the other side. The Jets' offensive line is good, but you're playing against the Eagles' defensive line. So that automatically just hurts your chances of protecting Zach Wilson and giving him time. But if they get that ball out quick over the middle of the field, they can make some big plays, and I can see the New York Jets maybe doing it. Hey, they pushed the Chiefs to win it last week, but I'm taking Philly. You don't need to overthink this one too much. I got this one twice. Got the bye week. That's right. Let me make sure I have all of them. I feel like I don't. No, yeah, we're good. I just want to double check, but I did want to go through the bye. I did want to kind of predict, if the bye, if there's only two teams on the bye, why not? Steelers, Packers. Steelers have a bad record, so let's say the Steelers are at home. I say the Steelers will probably. I don't know. This is a matchup of like two teams that are kind of like, what the heck is going on? Both offenses are lackluster. Both defenses can make plays, but too inconsistent. I guess I'm going to take. I guess I'll take the Packers. They have a couple more weapons. Romeo Dubes. They can run the football. They probably won't have Aaron Jones, but I still think the Packers would be able to win this one. So if the Packers and the Steelers were to play, I'm taking them this week. That was a quick little fun thing to do, I guess. Not really going too much into it, but that's it for me. I'm quite literally falling asleep while I'm trying to do this video, trying to concentrate. But I hope that you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you will see future videos. This is the JDW SportsTalkShow. Signing off.